Hello everyone, this is Michelle Garrio from the Seekonk Public Library, back again with another book review. This time I have been very happily reading a book called The Windfall by Diksha Basu, and this was a brand new fiction book that I found on our shelves here, and I'm so glad that I did. The storyline for this book is about a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jha, and what happens is Mr. Jha gets a windfall of money after he sells his technology company, and of course he sells it for a few million. The company who bought it turns out to sell it for 10 times as much, but no matter, it's still a windfall for their family, and they move from a very close-knit middle income, middle class family housing complex in one side of Delhi to a very affluent neighborhood in the other side of town. So this story ends up being a very predictable sort of story of trying to keep up with the Joneses, and a very funny one at that. I found that this book was incredibly strong in setting, of course. If you have any experience with India or wish that you did, and just looking for some exotic sort of book travel, then this may be a great book for you. Of course, the characters were really strongly written, very realistic, very easy to imagine in real life, and very funny. So at one point there's a scene where they go to get their brand new car blessed, and the husband decides that he doesn't want to take his brand new car to that side of town where the temple is, so they bring the keys instead. And not only do they bring the keys, but they decide that maybe it isn't best to give the keys somewhere where they can't see them, so to protect them from having a soap mold made of the keys so that the keys would later be stolen or the car would be stolen somehow. Not only that, when they give their donation for the blessing, they decide that they don't want to give it directly to the priest because who knows what he'll do, but they go and give it directly in the donation box. So just really so many really enjoyable stories like that in this book. There are two other characters that really are notable. You get to follow their storylines. One is a young widow who lives in the housing complex that the Jhas have moved from, and you get to see how she describes herself as too old to be an orphan, too young to be a widow, and you get to relate to her struggles as she's in this sort of unique place in society and how society thinks of her and what she should be doing. And also the Jha's son, who is studying in America in Ithaca College, even though the father is very willing to make people think that it's Cornell. And you see his struggles as he begins dating, and he has a very traditional blonde American girlfriend, but he begins this relationship to please his mother with a very traditional Indian girlfriend, also in New York, and he kind of goes back and forth and his feelings and not knowing which way he wants to go. So overall, this was just a really enjoyable book. It actually may make you a little sympathetic to the newly wealthy. Maybe, maybe not. So I hope that you'll consider picking it up. Again, The Windfall by Diksha Basu, and if you do, tell me about it. I'd love to hear. Thanks for watching.